Hey, what's good, everybody? Hope you guys are all well. I came to climb the mountain. I didn't run into one person over here. Bunch of stuff on the way. As I started, I kept seeing yellow butterflies. Even on the drive, I was in the car. Yellow butterflies. I guess it means like some kind of renewal and new start and all this crazy stuff. I never really looked up, or maybe I have looked up yellow butterfly, but I don't know. But I was exhausted on the way. Then I heard this hawk screeching. I counted nine big old screeches trying to get my attention, I guess. It's a lot of stuff, right? But yeah, I was exhausted. Something guided me to come. So here I am, right? Had been months since I had climbed this mountain, so now I'm on my way down. I guess this was like my little fast or something because I'm starving right now, but I don't want to eat nothing. But anyways, I wanted to make this video. I don't know, maybe I'll title this episode 54. Bringing you guys on this journey with me. Look at the little spider web. Ducked under it. But what do you call it? Yeah, so this will be like episode 54 on the move. Something different, right? So I wanted to talk about something that I've been wanting to make for a long time. I'm gonna talk in code, because I think that was my episode 19 where they deleted it, YouTube, right? Got a warning and all that. And it was, when the pandemic was starting, all these visions I was having. And I don't know, I felt like I was responsible to talk about it, but then once they deleted it, then I felt like I was off the hook. But I don't know, I kind of see like it's kind of re-emerging, so maybe it's time I talk about it again, The little white butterfly flew around me as I was saying that. So, if you guys are sensitive to this kind of stuff, just tune out, you know what I mean? Don't, it is what it is. Everybody made their decisions and all this stuff. I'm just going to talk about what I was spiritually guided to do, right? And how that went about, right? So, I had many visions even before, it started before this whole pandemic thing, right? And again, I'm going to talk in code with certain things. So you guys will know what I'm talking about when I say like the thing, right? Or, what people, all that stuff that people were getting and stuff, right? So, pre the pandemic, I had a vision and it felt like I was astral project or remote viewing or astral projecting, right? Because I looked up astral or remote viewing and it's kind of like gathering information almost like in real time. To me, astral traveling is more like, to me, the upside down in Stranger Things is like probably the lower place. And then astral projection is like, you even run into like the higher beings, like, angels, Pleiadians, different things. Or I don't know where exactly, because angels, I've obviously seen them even in the physical here. So, whatever. So I'll just call it remote viewing, right? But it was strange because my brother took me, right? He became very important, right? My brother that passed away, he became very important after he passed away, showing me things. And then I would get confirmations like it was real. It wasn't just this dream or vision. It was something that was real. And so, yeah, in this vision, he took me. It looked like we were in some kind of government building. When I was in the military, like I got to go inside these things called vaults, right? And there's no windows, no paper could leave, right? So once you're in there, like nothing could come out, right? Like just there's computers and everything in there, but it's like, this vault, and you need a secret clearance, I believe, to be in there, right? And all this stuff, right? And then if you have a top secret clearance, I guess you have access probably to more things, but, whatever. So, it seemed like we were in one of these, right? Like, or just whatever, like a government kind of vault type thing, right? No windows, this and that. And there were all these government officials and military personnel, right? High-ranking military personnel, and it seemed like their words were slipping up, right? And it was like my brother I was there in the back just watching everything, right, in my spirit body, but it was like if they were in their physical bodies and their words were slipping up, right? Something like that, like something was telling me to pay attention to their words. And then I kept seeing 666 after at the end too, so it was weird, right? So leading up after once the thing started, that's why when people were calling it the pandemic, that's the first thing I thought about this vision, because it seemed like they were planning something, right? And the words were slipping up. I was being made very aware to pay attention to the words. And then with the 666, obviously I thought it was like, oh, evil, something evil, 666. But then once the pandemic started and they were asking everyone no more than 6 people at a time, everyone's 6 feet apart, right? So there was this 6 everywhere. It was 666. So I was like, whoa. Like then the vision made more sense, right? So I was like, all right, they don't play around, right? When the spirit world shows me something, and in this case, oh shit, hold on real quick. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, good.
Go ahead, yeah, thanks.
Yeah. All right, so I'll keep making. I didn't want to freak anybody out with the stuff I'm talking about, so there was someone passing by right here that I let pass by so I could finish making this video, because I've been wanting to make this video for a long time now, and I just never feel like making it. And I don't know, being in nature just kind of let me feel more, I don't know, free to make it, right? Because I feel free. Looking, this is what protected me even during this whole thing, right? Like I was led. I guess there were some elders that talked about, the same, right? They is it conferred the right word, or consulted, right? I don't know even know what the hell conferred means. Maybe that is the word too, but they consulted, like, they, I believe, went into prayer and everything. And I remember there was certain herbs and everything that there was a group of elders. So I followed that, right? Certain herbs, and then certain things I followed, and I was good for the most part, and so was my family, right? So anyways, that's why it's beautiful to be here in nature making this video, because I was coming up to nature a lot, getting certain herbs, and it seems like, I was protected throughout this the whole pandemic thing, right? So anyways, back to the story. Hold on, let me put my freaking pants started falling right now. What do you call it? So anyways, that's good, right? That means this hike already made me probably lose a couple freaking, all that I was sweating and stuff. All right, so anyways, back to the thing, right? I know this is gonna be a strange video, but so that was one vision, right? That one, right? Boom, 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 with the 666, all this stuff, right? Then, and it came true, right? Then the other vision was I had this vision that like I was in this community, right? And it was like, it almost seemed like some Walking Dead type community, and I don't know, 30 people there or something. Out of everybody there, I was the only one that didn't get the thing, right? And someone started like trying to call the cops on me. Even this guy, right? I think he was talking smack, and I punched him and I laid him out, and I got on top of him. I was shaking him, and I was like, I was telling him like, you could infect me, not the other way around. Like, you could infect me. And he had like this really evil, like, kind of devilish. I was like, it kind of looked like he was possessed by some kind of demon or something, right? Like smirking. And I was like, what the hell? And then I appeared in that same vision in this community thing. I appeared next to like all these books and stuff. And I was like by a shelf and gathering all this information. Like if I was showing proof, right? Like also not just spiritual, but also showing like, boom, proof that what I was saying had merit. And then I don't know, there was this girl that came up to me and gave me a kiss on the cheek, and I took it as it was like me standing my ground. Then I went and there was some other girl that was gonna stand her ground, and then I guess she gave in, and she was like on a hospital bed kind of thing. So I don't know if she had got sick from it or what, from the thing, which we kind of later saw things happening, right? That whatever, maybe they haven't confirmed, but for the most part it seems it seems like that was the case, but obviously we'll probably never 100% know unless those people come forward and say it. I think people have come forward and said, right? So I'll just say that it seemed like that part came true as well. So, but then that part came true too, because everything from that vision, right? Because first of all, like I saw that happen in Australia, right? Like I happened to see the news. So this was probably a couple months after I had that vision, and it was like a guy's own wife called the police on him and had him arrested because he didn't want to get it and he didn't want his kids to get it. So the wife had him arrested. So I was like, wow, that is foul, right? Like I was just like mind blown, right? It was very disturbing to me that even, that this thing was dividing people like that, even husband and wife, all this, that couldn't be on the same page, right? And then the girl that I guess in the dream, it was like, I guess she was supposed to stand her ground, but then she ended up getting it, and she looked like, kind of like, oh yeah, I caved in. I knew someone in real life that they even had a vision, like to not get it. And they said they ended up getting it because of work, and which I understand. Had I not had these 3 visions, I would have caved in, because with one I usually listen, but since I had 3, I was like, oh man, there's no way. And I'll get to that right now. But so this, and then where I told someone, oh, you can infect me, not the other way around. That's what happened. Like I was finally, after 2 years, I finally got sick because someone that was, had it and then had the extra one and the extra one. They got it, and then they ended up bringing it to me. I got sick, right? And it was what it was, right? I had it wasn't horrible, but, whatever. I got sick, and then I got better, right? After, right? So, what do you call it? I think for the most part, right, I just had like the headache and this kind of stuff. Never lost the sense of taste, smell, all this stuff, but I had the headache, right? So that was my thing, right? And what do you call it? So yeah, all those things from that vision came true. Then I had another one that there was a strong looking guy. He looked like some buff dude, and then all of a sudden his arm he got it, and then his arm had like this big old like swollen, like a knot or something, and then he fell to the floor and started having a seizure. That dream, I think soon after I had that one, a friend told me that they knew this dude that did like UFC, and they got it, boom, in their arm, and then they, I think that's the only place you could get it, right? They got it, and then they found they had a seizure, and it was like some dude that did UFC, in shape and everything. So I was like, what the hell? I just dreamed that. So all those visions were coming true. So how could I? So I was like, okay, fine. I made my decision. I drew my line in the sand. I'm gonna stand my ground. And then work started like, boom. Before you knew it, 95% of the jobs, you had to have it or you couldn't work, right? At first it was like 50-50. So I was like, okay, I could still do this 50-50. I'm gonna stand my ground. Then it got really heavy, right? And then I had to find other ways of making money. I was really upset. I was mad at the spirit world. Like, why would you guys, like, damn, this sucks. And then I ended up getting injured at work, right? After a year of doing other work. My, the sciatic nerve thing, all this. So, I was really upset with the spirit world. I mean, there was some nights where the pain got so bad for me that it was like all my nerves were on fire, right? And it was like, I'd rather, you kind of want to die rather than feel that much pain, right? That was some weird little bug right now. What do you call it? So yeah, it was just really crazy, right? Like the amount, so I was really upset, right? Like the spirit world, because I was like, man, I'm standing my ground, I'm listening to you, but this is insane, right? Like everything was getting taken away from me. My community, right? The native community where I went, like, I felt like I was excommunicated. They told me, oh, I wasn't welcome anymore because I didn't get the thing, right? And I couldn't believe it because I told them now, they're like, can I tell you why? Because I showed up and they were like, oh, the first thing was like, oh, did you get the thing? And I was like, no, let me tell you why. I told them about my visions. And they're like, oh, I have visions too. And even told me about visions they have that came true and everything. But they weren't willing to listen to me. That they trusted the science. And so it was just mind-blowing, right? I couldn't believe that. The spiritual community, this native spiritual community that I belong to, I wasn't welcome anymore because I wouldn't get the thing. So I was heartbroken, right? I said goodbye to the grandfathers. Couldn't help it, like feel like the heartbrokenness. Now I'm going through all that. I'm not trying to gain like a pity party thing, but I haven't felt that kind of heartbreak like that many times in my life. It was very interesting because when I found that community, I felt like I belonged, and it was like something I had searched for really for my whole life. I felt like, and then when I became part of that community, I felt like complete in a way. So it was just crazy, all the things that the pandemic took away, and but yeah, I held my ground, and then eventually I felt justified, right? Because I never got all that stuff. The spirit world told me I would be okay. And if anything, I just started eating better. No fast food, no this. Even cut off coffee for at least a year, I remember. Just all these things, right? And I was good, right? I was good. I didn't have to keep putting all that stuff, whatever they were putting. Like, not to say, I had so many people around me that got it. But then after, too, I found a bunch of people that didn't. So they became my new community. Like, it was different, right? And I started seeing that I had things in common, even with people, how they were trying to at first just say, oh, it's the Trump people that don't want to get it and this and that. So in those moments, I had more in common with those people than people that I thought were my community, that, I don't know, their mind just got, like, it was, like, non-negotiable, right? They became, like, very judgmental. They became something else, right? So for the most part, like, my immediate people around me, they just let me be, right? They didn't try to judge me because they knew, like, I was taking my stance, and that was it. No, but we just didn't talk about it. But then I found people that also didn't take it, and they're good too. So I know there was, like, I had a family member that didn't take it, but unfortunately, like, he got sick, he passed away. He wasn't in the best of health, so I don't know, I don't know if that contributed to him passing, right? Like, I wouldn't have been opposed to him taking it. That's what I'm saying. I never, because I was like, I'm not going to be the one to blame, but I know I was spiritually guided, right? So maybe I would have had an adverse reaction or something. The spirit world has never steered me wrong. I can't even tell you. If you watch this channel, you already know just how much how much guidance I get from the spirit world. It's like an everyday thing. I went through something not too long ago that someone was trying, this I guess what you call spirit guides. Like, I had never seen one jump out at me so vividly, and they were trying to warn me from something, and I didn't listen, and they were right. Like, so now I know that, damn, they're that, like, they don't need to write it in a piece of paper for me. Like, as long as they're doing that, as long as they make themselves known and try to warn me from something, that's good enough. I gotta listen. So, sometimes those lessons, I was still protected, but those lessons are important, right? Like, they're gonna let me know, but I just gotta listen. So that's it. I think I talked about everything with that whole thing, because I know if once it starts getting pushed again, obviously I already drew my line in the sand. For me, it's not gonna be non-negotiable. I made my thing with God, and I'm willing to die for it. Obviously, I'm not against medical stuff. I've never been, like, obviously I've had so many surgeries and been rushed to the hospital when I was in car accidents, and one car accident, the other one I refused to go because I knew they were going to charge me. But when I was young, got rushed to the hospital numerous times, right? So I spent a lot of times in hospital. I trust doctors. But, this is something different. Wasn't doctors. It was like pharmaceutical stuff. And then doctors, I don't know what happened to doctors. I guess as pharmaceuticals became more prevalent, right? With all this new stuff. Like, the doctors, I don't know if they just sold out. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just started like, we get bonuses for pushing certain medications. Which, you could look up. Like, I've heard about that, There's been documentaries about that, where people have gotten bonuses for, like, denying people of certain treatments and stuff that could save their lives. But it was like, hey, and then people after the fact, they'll come out like, oh, I know people died because of me and blah, blah. And then after, it's always after the fact. So just like all this, I'm sure after the fact, people already have started coming out after the fact, right? So I'll end it with that. You know, I wanted to talk about that for a long time. I don't know if it made sense to anybody or if I was all over the place. Just that the visions didn't lie, and then everything that happened, and they told me I was going to be good, and I was, but I was very cautious. I took care of myself, started eating better. I think that was the trick, right? Eating herbs that people said were good, especially for that, like respiratory stuff and this and that. So, I mean, from what I know, I just got it the one time after 2 years, right? And before that, who knows? Maybe I heard someone that told me how another person that you know, they were led to not get it. They had visions as well. There was so many people that had visions to not get it, but like I said, there were some that had the visions and still decided to get it because they didn't want to miss work, right? But damn, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like there was someone that told me they got it, and then they took certain stuff, and that thing, boom, disappeared within like a day. You know, not the 14 days or whatever. So like there were herbs that were really good. Of course, probably no doctor was gonna tell you this or that, but you know, I heard so many things, right? So many natural things that were going on that obviously if we said, you know, they would probably deleted the videos or this and that. So you saw what happened. So with that said, going forward, good luck to everybody. Hopefully you know, take the time to learn stuff. You know, this war is ongoing. I never thought I would be seeing the things that I'm seeing now. Like, right? Like, you know, hopefully you understand that you're at war. Like, we're here. You know, whatever you want to think about it. You want to think about it like a game. Like, oh, on my way up here, it was crazy. Like, last night I saw this movie that's based on a game, right? But it's a true story. And I don't know why. Something about that movie triggered something. And it hit me like I was meant to hear that message, right? And then even today, right now, like on my way up the mountain, there was one balloon near the beginning. And it was like a happy birthday to somebody. And it had a controller like a game. Like, so I was like, what? Oh, hold on. Someone else is coming. So I just tripped down. Well, I ended there. So thank you for listening. And hope you guys are well. Peace.
Thank you.